Good morning, everyone. This is Lisa Harnish again with Certification Partners, and we are here for today's webinar, CIW and uCertify. I'm here today with Todd Hopkins and Gary Pretty and Manish Gupta. Todd, you want to go ahead and introduce everyone?
Yes, thanks, Lisa. We're excited to have you all here today as we talk about a new platform that we're moving all of our CIW curriculum to, and many of you might have already been able to see this, but we wanted to go through and walk through the platform with you and make this available for teachers and students and whoever's interested in looking at these. Today we have Gary Pretty, one of our account managers here at Certification Partners. We also have Manish Gupta, who is the CEO and co-founder of uCertify, and we've created this partnership to provide a more robust CIW program for you, as well as many other options that will be coming online as we go through. Manish, would you just share a little bit about yourself with our audience?
Sure. Hi, everyone out there. My name is Manish Gupta. I am the CEO and co-founder of uCertify. We started uCertify in 2004, and we started really developing the platform and started working with associations, organizations like CIW about 4 years ago. This particular partnership with CIW is really exciting to us, and I can't wait to show you what we have created today.
Wonderful. Thanks, Manish. And Gary, would you introduce yourself a little bit?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gary Pretty, and I'm an account manager here at CIW, covering the Northeast Territory, Southern California, Arizona, Utah, and I work with Chicago Public Schools as well.
A little bit of everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
That's great. That's great. All over the place. Gary works all the time, I think. So, and I'm Todd Hopkins. I'm responsible for the platforms and the curriculum and the certification, driving all of those departments and efforts. And I've been with CIW since 2001. So this is a really fun, exciting new change for us. And I've really been excited about where we're going with the uCertify platform and getting our content there. Today we're going to talk about, as we usually do, we're going to start with a little bit about CIW for those that are new to us, and this might be your first webinar with us, so I'll explain a little bit about what CIW is. We'll talk about the uCertify partnership, and then we'll move right into the platform. So we'll try to move through those first 2 points fairly quickly to keep things moving, and then try to leave sufficient time for questions at the end. Very quickly, for those that are new, CIW is a skills-based technology education standard, and what that means is we look at job roles that are in the marketplace. We look at the internet technologies that are required to fill those jobs, and we work to help people understand and get into those areas. So essentially, we help people to move from being a consumer of the internet to being a producer of the internet. And we take a little bit different approach than a lot of vendors do. We take a vendor-neutral approach, meaning that we're going to teach you the theories and methodologies of why you want to do it, what the purposes you want to accomplish in business, and then profile a variety of applications that will help you get there. Whereas I think some of the folks out there teach more of the application. Let me teach you to navigate through the application and accomplish certain things, but we take more of a business approach to help you understand why this is needed in business and when you would use it, and those types of things to bring you into those technology job roles. I like to say that we're vendor neutral, not vendor absent. Our certifications are very vendor neutral. We're not going to ask you how do you navigate through a particular application. We're going to teach you why you want to do certain things so that it doesn't matter which application you're in. We are also accepted and recognized throughout the world. We have certified individuals here in the United States, throughout Europe and Africa and the Middle East and China and Japan, just all over the world. And we're very excited about that. And so that's a little bit about CIW, and our goal is to help you prepare for your career. The slide you're seeing now is mostly the foundations and our new web and mobile design series. If you've been in our webinars over the last little while, you've seen some of this, and this is more of, you know, we've broken down our certifications over the last several years into smaller chunks. And so you didn't have to, you know, if you had a very specific career path, you can pick those courses and those certifications that help you get there directly. And so those are some things that we look at. We're excited about those new series, and also moving forward this year in updating a lot of our current content to match with where technology is going. But let's talk about the partnership, because that's what we're really here for today. Manish and I have been working together probably about 3 years, working this partnership and moving content. It's not a small task to move such a large quantity of materials and keep them functioning and working. And so we've been working for a while together, and I think we're really getting this together well. So all of the CIW courses that we've developed at this point are available through the CIW.uCertify.com platform, and you can go there and see the listing of our courses, enroll in them directly. You can, for the schools, you can connect with them, connect with our account managers and our customer service and get that set up for your schools. But what we've really focused on is to make this a more interactive and an integrated solution. In the past where we've been, we started out when we first moved things online, and there was a practice exam module that you had to go into. There were course review or course mastery questions that were a separate module. And over time, we've been bringing those together. But with the uCertify platform, it's a much more interactive location. So you go in, you start looking at and we'll go through this, but all of that's there. There's a variety of ways to assess students. There's a pre-assessment, there's the practice exams that are still there, the course mastery questions are still there, and there's a very interesting new way that Manish and his team have built to help us in those assessments. The videos and the labs are there. There's some really fun things that we're still working on and we'll be bringing out soon in regards to the labs that will make it a lot easier for students to navigate through those hands-on materials, give them some really neat opportunities, very integrated into that. And then with the uCertify platform, we've got, you know, it's continually updated. And Manish, let me have you talk a little bit about that continually updated methodology that you use.
Sure. So as you start using the uCertify platform and start teaching CIW titles on uCertify platform, there are a couple of things that we can do to make sure that whatever you are teaching is always relevant. So, for example, as you are teaching and we were able to detect a type when we know that it's not really going to impact you and what you're teaching and your course schedule, then we go ahead and deploy it. From your side, from the school side, you really don't have to make any effort. You don't have to turn a switch on. You don't have to have an administrator do certain things. None of that. We want to make sure those are available to you. But if there is a change that might impact what you're teaching, for example, if we decided to add another test set, or we decided to, rather than talking about, let's say, Windows 10, and there was a new version of Windows, and we wanted to talk about that, those are the changes where we have the technology to clone and then make sure you have at least ability to preview, and at that point you can incorporate that in the next section when you are ready to do so. So our technology allows us to do continuously update, and which we do when we know it's not going to impact what you're teaching. At the same time, we are very respectful of what you're teaching, and we will not surprise you ever. I mean, as we were developing this platform, by the way, this platform is developed from the ground up. So we looked at what are our unique problem when teaching IT. And one of the unique problem in IT, which other subjects and other streams to face, is that IT changes every 2 years. IT changes every week a little bit. So we wanted to create something from the ground up that allows us to be able to clone, be able to start working on a second set of courseware, as well as provide the ability to push updates right where it is needed without impacting, without surprising our teachers. So I think we have come to a solution which is really unique in the industry. And once you get to know uCertify, you will really like it.
Yeah, thank you, Manish. I do really appreciate the continual platform management that you have, that, you know, as we have conversations and we find things that will be beneficial for our customers, we can put them in. And the thing that I've noticed over the last couple of years is every time we're thinking about something, we have a conversation, and it might be we're just having a conversation, and in a few weeks or a month, you're going to say, hey, Todd, remember we were having that conversation? Let me show you what we're developing. Let me show you what we're bringing in.
And Todd, let me expand upon it. So that's a really good point. So at uCertify, we say every Saturday is a release date, meaning every Saturday we release a platform, a new version of platform, which is a little better than the previous version. And Todd and I, we have been associated. We have been talking to each other. We have been looking at the platform together for the last 3 years. And every time I have shown this platform to Todd, and every time I've been able to tell and really pleasantly surprise him with the newer things that were either discussed or not even discussed, but shown. Now the latest one that I'm very proud of is now students can download a native mobile app from either Apple App Store or Google Play Store. So that's just one example of how fast we are moving to make sure that the tools that you're using to teach is really up to date and is better than pretty much anything else out there.
Yeah, thanks, Manish. And I don't want to spend too much time on just a flat slide here. I want to get into the platform so that everybody can see this that we're so excited about. But I really appreciate the things that you're working on for the test prep and the assessment tools, and I continue to learn more and more about this platform and how we can move things and get things moving into there. The other thing that I think our instructors are really going to appreciate are the controls and the tools that we'll get into a little bit later in the presentation here today to help them manage their classes. Those are some of the really neat things that we can do. It makes it easier to get the students in. It allows you some customization as an instructor for your specific sections for your students. And the reporting is a big part of that, so that you can quickly, easily see where all of your students are, and then identify those that need a little bit extra help very quickly and easy without a whole lot of extra work trying to find those numbers. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. Now this is going to take a little bit, so be patient with us. I'm going to provide Manish the opportunity here to present, and so it'll take us just a second to switch over to his view as he walks us through some of these courses here. Lisa, are you able to see Manish's?
Yes, it's coming over. I see here that he's working on getting logged in and navigating to our content.
Great. I just wanted to make sure everybody that I see it, but sometimes what I see is different than what everybody else's reality is. So,
and Manish is going to be going over our Internet Business Associate course in this system. However, all the different courses from CIW are set up the same way, so the model is going to be the same way. We're going to be going over student view and the benefits and the easeability of the student as they go through the system. And then we're going to show how the instructor can see reports and customize assessments and all the other nice features that we have in this system.
Thank you, Todd, for that awesome introduction. And as everybody and as Lisa confirmed that my screen is shared and you can see what I am doing right now. So as you noticed that I was already logged in, I am at certificationpartners-ucertify.com. Now that should tell you one thing, that your school can have your own domain. So nobody has to go to ucertify.com, and they can just directly come into a custom domain, and students can have a really clean experience that way. I was already logged in, but we have the ability to be able to do single sign-on integration with your LMS. And in that case, your students don't have to remember another set of user ID and passwords. And as you notice that I have already filtered my titles, and my library only is right now showing all the courses that I'm enrolled in that are more CIW specific courses. Let's go ahead and choose a particular one called Internet Business Associate. And I'm not going to go to Live Lab immediately. Yeah.
Just real quick, while you're logging into that course, Manish, there's a couple things that we do have. The URL that you're at is the certification-partners.ucertify.com. That's what we use for our Europe and Middle East and Africa market. Those are what our director of out in Ireland uses, Marjorie Quigley. We also have, and this will be more for the U.S. market, will be CIW.ucertify.com. So it will work either way, and it's very similar to that. There's a couple slight differences for where we were at. The other thing that we can do is, we're talking about this, that Manish, you introduced a little bit, and I did see a question about this, is we do have, Manish's platform is LTI compliant and has an API to integrate with any type of platform. And I believe the question was, does it integrate with Blackboard? And Manish, I believe the answer to that is a resounding yes, correct?
That is true. That is absolutely true. A resounding yes about that. Is it LTI compliant, as well as will it work with Blackboard? Will it integrate with Blackboard? So yes, absolutely right. So let's go ahead and find.
It's there at the top. Oh, that's the Live Lab one.
Yeah, we don't want to use Live Lab. Yeah. So let's find.
That one's in development here. So there's exactly. your second one there. There you go.
Yeah. And did you see that how fast it was for me to be able to search anything I wanted to? And I am literally enrolled in about 100 courses, and I still can find what I really need to find very, very quickly. Another thing to notice here, that sometimes I have only an open button here, and other times I have both manage and open button here. So what's the difference? When it is only open, meaning I have a license which allows me to consume the course as a student. When I have a manage and open button, mean I can also manage my course. I have been given an instructor license and I can do both. And this, you will find this theme of simplicity, where our philosophy is to keep it simple. Let's not confuse our teachers or the student. And so there are no two different URLs. Everything is in one place. And also, once we do a custom site, we can also give an administrative right to few people in your school. And that administrative function will show up here on the top as another tab. The philosophy is to keep things rather simple, and also consider the fact that especially in IT, every single teacher must also continue to learn something new, and therefore by having it all of that in one place, we make it easier for our teachers to continuously also learn newer topics or newer titles, newer courses. So with that, let's go ahead and open this particular course. And when I say open, I'm really kind of consuming it as a student. So I will show you a student interface, and I will show you how simple this is. So if you notice, this is very clean. I'm at ciw.ucertify.com. This is the dashboard. And also notice that I have pre-assessment, interactive lessons, practice tests, post-assessment, and also there's something called graded assessment. Given that I'm an instructor, I'm seeing this particular area. This is totally up to you. If you want to create assessment, we do provide instructor tools where you can actually create those assessments, and I will show it to you. But this is actually really top to bottom, and this is what a student needs to do. Let's go ahead and look at pre-assessment. So I clicked on pre-assessment. I started my test, and notice that this is actually, and also anytime there's a help needed. For example, we're really talking about here is a navigation bar, and we want people to be aware of it. But there are like three things that I want to make you aware of. First is here's bookmark, confidence rating, and notes. And as you turn it on, those dots will turn on and to indicate that there is something here. So as you can see, our three-dot system here. A side pen, and side pen will always be there, but it's context sensitive. And depending upon what you are seeing on the screen, so the content of that side pen may change. And as I talked about the navigation bar, and we are in pre-assessment, it is in test mode. But if this bothers me, if this says, oh my God, I cannot look at a running timer, I can actually hide it. Timer is still running. In terms of settings, if I were to go here, I can actually change it in any way I want to, including a font called Open Dyslexic, and also changing the font size. Also, I can change the background color in any way I want to. Also, everything is driven by keyboard shortcuts. In uCertify solution is 100% ADA compliant, which might be of some use to you. So you will find these three components everywhere: three dots, side pen, and navigation bar. And let's go ahead and start answering some of these questions.
Yeah, and as we go through these questions, the pre-assessment for the CIW courses are set up to have the same quantity of questions, the same time limit as the certification exam. So as you come in there and come into a new class and you want to see, where do your students fall in their level of preparation for the certification exam, this is a good start for that. These questions are set 30 questions. They will be randomly delivered each time that you see them. The answers also become randomized each time they see them. So no student is going to have the same exact navigation through those, the same chronologically ordered tests as they're going through it. So they could be right next to each other and not be seeing necessarily the same question. So as you go through that, that's some of the things that we look at, and we'll talk about some of the other assessments as we get to those.
Great. Thanks, Todd. And I'm towards the end of my test here, and as you have seen that I'm actually, I'm just going through it as fast as I can so that we can get to the result. You can always end the test at any time you want to, so let's go ahead and try that. And when we end the test, we are given a friendly warning in terms of how many items are there, how many are bookmarked, how many are still unattempted, and what we have attempted. Let's go ahead and end our test. When we end the test, we get a pretty clear report in terms of what has happened here. So my result is 20%. I got 6 right. I got 12 incorrect, and I got 12 unattempted, and total time taken was 3 minutes. I get a graph for time dimension, how long it took for me to go through every single one of these items that I attempted, and also taking a step back and really talking about in terms of lessons where I need to pay attention to. Some people call it outcome, some people call it knowledge domain, and some people just call it lessons. Just taking a step back and looking at under each of these domains what was the performance. And also we can map it to exam objectives and see based upon exam objectives how did we do. If you scroll down further, you will see that now we have provided remediation for every single item. So if I can go to the first one, and we didn't get it right. The correct answer was C, while we attempted it to be A, and also a remediation here. And when we are in the remediation mode, notice I talked about how the side pan is context sensitive. So rather than saying attempted, now we are saying correct and incorrect, and we can actually filter on those things. So it works beautifully, and also it's fast. You realize that how fast it was. And also another thing to notice here, once you are in remediation mode, you can also annotate. If you are a teacher, you can annotate for your entire section, and you could do some other things as well. For example, could do Wikipedia search, or Google search, or even you can add a link from outside. So there are enough tools built in to make sure we are facilitating learning properly. So with that, let's go ahead and go back. So that's pre-assessment. Now let's keep moving, and let's look at interactive lessons. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And as I do that, please notice that I am in my TOC, table of content, and I could start where I left off. I could go to the farthest point read, or I could enable bite-sized learning, which by the way is on by default. So one topic at a time, and everything that we have for that topic, whether it's video, knowledge checks, or text, or anything else, all of that together in one place. So let's just go ahead and click on the very first chapter here, very first lesson here. And that's what it is right now. If you notice, in a second or so, it will reconfigure itself to make sure it's bite size. And then at some point, so you notice that this is the only topic we are seeing. Let's go to the next topic. And here's the next topic. Now let's talk about a few things that I've already discussed. So one of that is bookmarks. So if you notice, I still have my 3 dots here. Side pen, it looks a little different, but nonetheless a side pen. And also my navigation bar looks different because now it is context sensitive and we are really into an interactive lesson. So it looks very different as well. Now, another thing that a couple of things we talked about is font and settings. So notice that I can go to Open Dyslexic. I can set everything the way I want to. I can also do background color if I really want to do that. And then I have keyboard shortcuts. So exact same setting available to you. It doesn't matter where you are in uCertify. Also, if I were to select something, I can always annotate, and I can always put my comments. And I can share it with the students or not, totally up to me as an instructor. By the way, when a student can annotate, the student can, by the way, can annotate too. It's just that they will not be able to share it with the entire section. So with that, let's go ahead and show another thing which makes it really good, makes up for a good accessibility.
Information technology, IT. Information technology, IT, refers to all aspects of managing and processing information using.
I'm not sure if you were able to hear that, but it is text-to-speech built in right into the platform. And as you scroll down, if there was a video, you can always play that video.
Information technology. Sounds very technical and complicated, but it affects our everyday living. What is IT? Information.
And I can go hit next. I'm trying to find a particular one where there might be a knowledge check, and I can show you how the knowledge check works.
Probably, so here, I think, there you go.
Yeah. So if you notice, it's all built in. So there's a knowledge check, and knowledge checks is just as part of embedded text. And now students can actually really experience or experiment and actually validate what they have learned so far. So in this particular case, there are 2 knowledge checks, there are 2 items, and I'm on my first item here, and I can submit it. And when I submit, I didn't get it right, and here's the right answer. Complete remediation, as you can see, and by the way, here's the correct answer. Also notice something interesting here, that we have cross or checks here. So not only we can provide remediation based upon, it's just not binary correct or incorrect. If there were multiple steps to perform to provide an answer, we are able to look at every single step and tell a student what they did right and what they did that was not correct. And also, let's go to the next item real quick. And here's the next one, very similarly, and we can submit it after performing, trying to respond to it, and then hitting submit here. Also notice that we have cards and quizzes, and I can actually, my cards are 7% complete. So let's go ahead and click on it. So when I click on cards, let's give it a second. I get my first card. Notice my 3 dots here, my side pen here, as well as my navigation bar here. And I can click on a card, and I can look at the definition, and I can decide whether I got it right or wrong. And in this case, I have marked as correct previously. So it remembers, and I can go to the next item. And let's go ahead, and that's correct too, so that's good. Let's find something which is not correct and start marking some of them as correct. And there's a reason for that. I will show you how our analytics work and how effective that is. So now that we have marked a few correct, let's go to side pan and notice that side pan has recalculated the result. It's no longer 7%, it's 21%. And when I hit go back, notice nothing happens. That's where I started. That's where I came back. Now, in some of the other solutions that you might have used in past, you may have to go to dashboard, go to flashcard, do flashcard for chapter 1 there, come back to dashboard, come back to lessons, and come back to the second topic and scroll all the way down here to have the same impact. So we have made design decisions to make it really, really easy for a student to use uCertify product and actually focus on learning the subject matter and not on the uCertify platform itself. We want to just fade in the background and let a student consume and learn the information. I can also do the same thing with quiz, and quiz will work exactly the same way as you have seen before, with a few other options. So for example, we could do that in learn mode, we could do in test mode or review mode. And let's go ahead and do it learn mode right now. So when I hit learn mode, what you notice is there is no timer here, but a submit button. Submit button and next button will work the same way. So when I hit next, I get a complete remediation immediately. And it works exactly the same way with annotation, with 3 dots, and with navigation bar and the side pan. So that's basically, and I'm going to go hit go back, and I can go to book. And you see, notice that this is where I was, and this is where I came back to. So that's pretty much what I wanted to show here. Any questions so far on this? Todd, do you see any questions?
I think we're doing pretty good. Let's see. Let's look at. Let's see. Is there a database of any questions that students will not get the same 30 questions as they go through the test? That we will look at a lot of the large quantity of assessment items that we do have. We will go into that's in one of the options we'll get to. So there are a lot of options where they will not get the exact same items. The exact same items are in the pre-assessment and post-assessment and some of the practice tests, but they can get to all of the questions through some of the assessment in the practice test function here that we can talk about there. There is and then this is a good question too. Does the teacher have the capability to see the results of the knowledge checks?
And the answer is yes, they can.
So we'll get into those as we get into some of those teacher roles. But Manish, maybe we should look at some of the results that the student can see, and then let's work into the what the teacher and instructors are able to get into. Okay. So we've seen some of the results that the students can see. They can see that as they go along. They can see through their side pan and those types of things. They can see that. What other places can students see their progress? And then let's move into some of the, we probably need to go through the practice test item, and we'll see some of those things, correct?
That is correct.
One thing we want to tell people on this is that when you come into the internet business or any course where you see pre-assessment, chapters and lessons, practice tests, and post-assessments, those are going to be the default items. The graded assessment is what the instructor can create for the students. And Manish will go through that when he gets into manage as an instructor. That won't come up initially when you start the class.
That is correct. Very good. So let me just quickly touch upon where students can go in. So for example, I'm going to test history. I can look at everything that I've done. And I can actually, then I can actually open it. For example, if you notice test pre-assessment, and I can go and actually look at the result. Just like I did a few minutes ago. So students have the ability to be able to look at any one of these at any time, not only just at the end of the test, but pretty much at any time. And there are a few other options there, and I will touch upon that as well. Let's go back for now and look at the practice test set. So when I hit the practice test, there are two types of practice tests available. One, of course, is more traditional. You got your test set, you got under exam conditions, you got your time parameter set, and these practice test sets are more or less a reflection of what they're expected to see in the exam itself. So under test taking condition, they can click here and they can try to go through this in a very in a normal way. Either they can do under test in a test mode or in learn mode, and I've shown you both of these modes when we talked about quiz and pre-assessment. Let's look at the review mode. So let's say that a student is totally ready. He or she is at the exam center and she wants to just revise one more time. She can go into review mode. And then at that point, it becomes very simple, one item at a time. Nothing needs to be attempted, almost like a book. Read through this remediation and go take the exam. Yeah. So that, go ahead.
Yeah, Manish, one thing I wanted to point out to everybody is as we get into the instructor tools, you will be able to turn on and off a number of these items as you move through, so the first time you go and set this up, you can turn off some of these features if you don't want your students to see these. And then as you set up new sections, it will follow that setup that you have. So there's a number of things that you will be able to customize, and we'll get into some of those in just a few minutes. But as you want individuals to see some things, or not see some things, you can have that control.
Great. And then we have a pre-assessment here. This is something that we are really proud of. So let me actually talk about it while I'm demonstrating this. So I just click on that play button, and that's a very natural instinct that you see a play button, you click on it, and then notice that we got our three dots here, we got our side pan here, and we got also a navigation bar. But look, everything is looking a lot more simple. There are a few less buttons here everywhere. And let's go ahead and attempt the first item. And as I attempt the first item, it's almost like a learn mode, but we get these three dots here, and my first attempt, I did not get it right. And I just need to continue with this process, read the remediation, and then I will be presented randomly with another item, and I can try to click on it and see what the answer is. And as I go through it, my job is to get 3 green dots here. So as long as I get my 3 green dots here, this item will be taken out of the pool, a new item will be added. And my job is to exhaust all those items. And at that point, I'm ready to take the exam. So what is the purpose of this? As you know, our students have changed. And now they really don't have time to sit down for 90 minutes to go through a test set. They might have 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, but they can use this tool either on mobile app or on a browser-based system like this, and go through it in a more game-like fashion. Spend those 10 minutes, go through few items, and next time when they come in, they start where they left off. They don't have to manage anything. They don't have to remember anything. And it really takes advantage of some of the science of learning. For example, spaced learning or randomization, and really create a more gamified model of test prep. We are seeing quite a bit of success with our prep engine. So that's pretty much covers everything that I wanted to talk about today when it comes to the student review. But let me just cover one last thing, two actually. One is the post-assessment. I'm not going to go through this. It's just like a pre-assessment under exam conditions. So you should know that. And there are parameters that you can control. And when I go to design area, I will show it to you that what you can do and control as an instructor. On the right-hand side, notice that I started January 1st, 2017, and my last day, my target is 30th June 2017. I'm day 88. I'm 2% complete. Based on my activity to date, my readiness score is 2%. If I continue at this pace, I will need 143 months, 3 weeks, and 1 day to achieve readiness score of 100%. My estimated completion date is 23rd March 2029. So of course, I'm doing really bad in this course, but this can be a very good motivator for our students to apply themselves and continue to move towards 100% readiness score. We also have something called a study planner, and if I were to click on it, I will see step by step what needs to be done to go through this course, and every single thing is listed here. And that a lot of our students find it very, very useful. So with that, let's go back to our library, and this time we will attempt to go into the library using the manage button that I talked about before, and we will talk about the instructor area. So here basically I can click on, and if you notice that given that I use this course, it is intelligent that now I have it as the very first title available to me. I'm going to go click manage. And notice there are 3 sections that I had created. All those 3 sections are shown here. And I'm going to go ahead and click on Instructor Tools. So essentially you can create any number of sections and you will see all of that listed here. And I'm going to go ahead and click Instructor Tools for the very first section. Notice I have 0 enrollments. I have nobody right now enrolled in my section. So when I click on track, you will notice that I'm shown some sample data. So that gives you at least some idea in terms of how these tools are used. The minute you have your first student enroll, you will not see any sample data at that point. So notice that we have roster, lessons, practice, prep engine, assessment, and grade book. And there are a few other things that you might find useful under this more tab. Now, all my students are listed here. Remember, we talked about readiness score that a student can use, and the student can look at their study planner. What if we were to just click on it and look at Tim's readiness score? When I click on it, I get Tim's study planner, literally putting me and Tim on the same page. And that makes it for a very good conversation with the student, because now they know that what we know, and we can see everything they have done so far. So essentially, we take away all this backbenchers problem, and everybody essentially is 100% visible to you as teacher. So we have readiness score, we have a start date, we have target, we have estimated what system thinks when a student is going to be able to complete this course, and the last login. All of that essentially essentially the reflection of engagement of the student, and we know the more engagement essentially result in better outcome. We can go into lessons, and we can see every single thing that a student has done for lesson 1 to all the lessons. And also notice that, for example, this is the readiness score. If a student has spent time looking at a chapter, we have that detail here available as well. And also notice, for example, I'm going to, for Mark, I'm going to look at Mark's flashcard, and notice that we can, let's see if we can see. And then remember, this sum of that is a sample data. And that data just seems to be not available at this point for some of these things. So that's why you are seeing that. For quiz, but if it was a real student, then there won't be any issue as such. So let's look at quiz and see if we have better luck with quiz for Tim. And as you can see, Tim has tried to take this quiz 3 times, and 2 of them were in test mode, and here's a score for that. And I can go and look at the result, or I can look at every single item and what was Tim's response to that. So we can see all of that here. And same for other students and for other lessons as well. When it comes to practice, we have pre-assessment, we have post-assessment, and we have all of the test set listed here. And then it will work exactly the same way. So if I were to click on it, I will look at all the sessions and what was the result. When it comes to Prep Engine, it looks a little different. I'm not sure if we have a sample data populated for Prep Engine, but let's go ahead and take a look. It is. So you can see how many items have been mastered, how many items are still in play, and how many items are still pending, and how much time is spent, and you can see all of that detail in one place, and that's true for every single. We can also look at the mastery level for every single lesson. I will not cover assessment here for now. Let's go ahead and look at the design first. So we give you quite a bit of control in terms of what you can show, how you can show. For example, you are looking at pre-assessment. I can actually turn the visibility of pre-assessment on and off. I can actually give it a different weightage. I can actually say that whether it's going to be graded or not, it's going to be reported or not, and I can actually click on it. And I can even set the number of tries allowed. If you want the pre-assessment to be only 1 try, you can actually set it to be 1 try. If you want it to be infinite, you can go all the way here and allow 25. As you can see that we have quite a bit of, as an instructor, you have quite a bit of control in terms of how you want to present this course to a particular section. And then same thing with card quizzes for every single lesson. And also if you have created any assessments, you can set the assessment and the value of that. So huge amount of control. And we had a question about LTI. We can not only provide LTI integration, we actually we can actually do it for every single. So first, for example, let's select LMS and say we want to do it for Blackboard, and then let's say that which CRN we want to talk about, and let's just choose any CRN for now here, and then you can start seeing that what is actually really possible with the LTI link. And then you can select all modules, you can select assessment and everything, show all links, for example, and then you can see the deep links available through LTI. So as you can see from the design area, a lot of this is 100% possible, and it works beautifully for our administrators at school as well as instructors. So that's the design area, and we have the ability to move things rather fast. So it is a one-page application where everything is in one area, and you can use it very effectively.
Manish, we do have one question out there asking, let me see if I can read this right. Is there a way to make students do everything in sequential order? Can we set that up so that they have to follow it through instead of jumping from, say, lesson 1 to lesson 5 and then to 3? Is there a way for the teachers to be able to do that?
Let's take a look. If I understood this question correctly, what we really want to do is before they come to lesson 2, for example, they must have done something in lesson 1. So if I were to click on here, and then basically we can either select a start and due date, and then we can also do something called unlock, and then we can say unlock when score 50% in chapters in previous chapter exercise or previous chapter quiz. So yes, it is 100% possible. All we need to do is to set it up in a way that we can make it either time-based by setting the available and due date for that lesson, or we can set up performance-based that you cannot proceed to chapter 2 unless you have scored 50% in the quiz of chapter in the previous chapter, which in this case chapter 1. So we give that kind of a control, and that creates a very sequential system where things are unavailable until they have performed certain actions and scored a certain way, performed at a certain level. Does that answer your question?
I think that does cover it fairly well. So there's a lot of tools that the teacher can set this up that they can control when students are seeing additional chapters, but it's at essentially at a chapter level when you control that, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Now I just wanted to resource tab, for example. So if there are instructor resources available, we line it up here, and now instructors have the ability to download all of that, and this is clearly going to assist them as they teach this course. Also, instructors can upload pretty much anything and make it available to students, and that's this area here.
Hey, Manish, I want to just confirm with the instructors that are currently using CIW that the instructor supplemental files in our current system, this is where they're located at in the resources.
Right, right. And then let's talk about what, so a teacher may have some things that they want to share with their students. They can upload them to this area and then share them out to their various sections, either all of their students or a specific section. Correct?
Yeah, that's this is why this section is for. So for example, I could upload any file here, select from my system, upload it, and then make it available to students.
Okay. And then Gary, we've got a question. I think this is a good one for you because you've been working with some of this. But the question is, do the teachers have to manually enter students, or do they invite them, or how do they get them in there? Is there an upload option? Those types.
They can do it both ways. They can invite a student in. When you set up the access code, when schools order product from us, they'll get a 16-digit access code that the student will utilize to get themselves into the system. The instructor can set up the section key for their class and invite that student to that section key. They can give it manually to that student, or if the student logs in as, say, a self-study student, the instructor can invite them, sending an email. Once they click on the email and accept it, they're going to be logged into that section.
They'll be assigned to that section.
And the beauty of it, too, is the instructor can create multiple sections, and if a student was to move from, say, period 1 class to period 7, it's an easy switch.
It's an easy switch for the teacher to take care of. Go in, look at their section, and then just easily move that. So there are a variety of ways that we can do that. Now, is there a way to upload a list into this, maybe from the teacher's point of view? So they have a list of 10 students, and is there, how does that work? Or
with the email addresses, is that correct with it, Manish?
That is correct. And actually, I'm in the invite area, and I've typed in one email address. It could be more. It could be, let's type another one. And I can invite the students. And when I do that, and this actually, a lot of time when students are coming into uCertify system, and for that matter, any system, there might be things that may not be working out. One of the biggest thing I'm willing to bet that a lot of instructors have issues with, that they cannot see their students. So there is some kind of confusion. Students not able to enroll. So this also doubles as a diagnostic tool. So I have typed in, for example, 2 email addresses here, and now we know very clearly student enroll, ask a student to enroll, and link with you. And how do they link? Here's a section link, and all of that information available. And so notice how clean it is. And we work really hard where students don't and teachers don't have to have that kind of a confusion. So here's an example, and there could be, let's say, about 100 students. All you need to do is to paste all their email addresses, and you can just do one-click enrollment, no issues there at all. Now, you might be wondering that, well, I'm here talking about it because I'm familiar with the system, but some of that information, for example, section key, how do they, even the instructor, know that they need to provide it? Well, we have a complete support area. So let's go and talk about that really quickly. And one thing to notice is system check. All my systems are tagged right. Everything seems to be working fine. If I had issue with JavaScript, I can actually click on JavaScript, and the system detects I'm on Chrome, and it teaches me how to enable my JavaScript. So even at that level, we have paid a lot of attention so that students can do well and teachers can do well. But also notice that we have a support request, and if this is filled, and this, by the way, includes a drag and drop of image. Notice it opened in a separate tab. I was here, I opened it in a separate tab. So I can still go and take a screenshot where I was having issue, and I can drag and drop that one here. And this provides us, our team, everything we need to know to help you and solve your problem. And this is monitored 24/7. We never stop. We continuously monitor it, and our job is to get back to you as quickly as possible. You can also look at all your open tickets at any given time. But we don't end there. And actually really asking for support is almost like a last step. For the students, we have complete student tutorial, and all of them are videos, so you kind of take a look. Also, a student manual. So that's a PDF, and I'm going to just open that in a second here to show you how effective this is and how well written it is. And as I talked about, that we upgrade our platform every single week, meaning that, and part of that upgrade process is make sure our manual reflects the latest platform. So as you can see, very well documented, and if somebody just apply themselves just a little bit, they will have absolutely no problem with uCertify platform. And if they did, we are always there to provide support. And same thing we repeat for instructors. And by the way, a student cannot see instructor manuals. So all your superpowers, all your secrets, how to use the platform is with you. The only reason I'm seeing this tab because I'm logged in as an instructor, because I'm using a course that gives me the instructor privileges. Same thing with administrator tools. It is because I'm from uCertify, I can see it, but others won't see unless they have administrative rights. And they again, they have their manual and they have video, so they can learn how to use it. So that was a long answer to a fairly straightforward question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there is one other thing. A lot of our schools in Florida use an organization by the name of ClassLink. And Manish, we've had some initial conversations with them, but I wanted everybody to know that that is something that we will be making available very soon. And that will definitely help the schools in Florida that use that. So that integration is very easy too. That's they're an LTI compliant solution, and so it will move in very, very quickly and easily as we get to that point. Those will be coming soon. All right. Well, we're getting really close to our time, like about a minute away. If there are any other questions, please put them in. Lisa, are there any that we have missed answering that you can see?
No, I've answered a couple of questions myself directly for things that I'm familiar with. For example, there was a question from Charlie Williams about if there's any plans to offer our final proctored exams in this platform, our certification exams. And so far at this time, not right now, perhaps in the future, but it's still a long ways away.
Yeah, not specifically through this, but we do have a lot of options available. Recently, we've added a video proctoring solution. We are working on an enhancement replacement essentially for CTC. That's a little ways out as well. That won't happen this testing season through the end of the school year. But there are a number of things that are coming up based upon if you're in the K-12 market, if you're community college, university, or training center, there's a number of options. You know, please connect with your account managers and we can get those answers for you. We hope that as we run down our time here, I did also answer a few, and I tried to bring those into the webinar as well, some of those questions. So one quick thing as we get back to as we end out the webinar here, as we run into our time slot. There's a number of things that will be coming here. All CIW courses are here. We're making sure to work through them and fill in any of the holes and things that we've overlooked. There will be additional content available, other certification programs that are not created by certification partners and CIW that will be available through this. Contact your account managers for those items. We'll continue to add more material to this platform as we move forward. We also have another session of CIW and uCertify at the end of April. Please come back and we'll be talking about some other new things that we'll be working on in April and making available very soon. And we'll be able to show some of these other additional items. If you do have any questions, let us know. We will be working through some of these questions, making the recording and the very brief slide presentation available. But we greatly appreciate your attendance here today. We appreciate Manish and Gary in participating with us and helping us understand a little bit more about this platform. I am continually learning stuff about the platform the more I'm spending in it, trying to get the content ready. And there are some really neat tools here. The thing that I really like about this is it gives you as instructors so much control and ability within your classrooms to really make it the best it can be, the best you can provide for your students, and give them the greatest opportunity for success. There's great tools here, and I appreciate Manish and his team and all the work that they've done, and we look forward to continuing this relationship and making it bigger and stronger and providing you, our most valuable customers and friends and instructors, a great tool to deliver CIW and other certification programs.